with also Gonzalez going to be playing on the Claude on the gold lane. So a double marksman composition earlier from the get-go, but a little bit of a different variation. Setups with the traps also setting it up for the blessings coming in from the Xavier to go in for the one-hit combo. Team Philippines trying something new. Looking forward to see how it all goes down, because this is going to be their final appearance for today. Likewise, coming for Team Myanmar, as they are going to go through their final matches together and united. Who's going to be the better team? But as of now, let's head towards the game very, very shortly.
As we all know, Team Philippines have already guaranteed themselves a spot in the semi-finals. So this is going to be a very important game for Myanmar, because this is the final game that they will have control over. And if they're not able to claim victory, well, it's going to come down to how well the teams perform in the final match of the day.
Yep. Seems like that is going to be a little bit of a, I think, is it a roster switch coming from Team Philippines? They're having USI playing it on the Xavier instead.
It does seem like they have swapped out Imam here. Uzi going to be replacing his role here on Team Philippines. They've already confirmed their position in the next game, the next round of the tournament. So why not allow some of their sub players to have a turn on the battlefield?
Yep, to try and keep things interesting from side Team Philippines, they need to keep themselves in focus for the next match to come. So I like how they're getting for the swap, but at the same time, let's see how things work out, because as of now, Team Myanmar, they are going to be able to go in for a couple of harassments here and there. Brando going to be on the XP lane against Soto. Not exactly an okay matchup, but I feel like Soto is just going to benefit so much from the average. But interesting enough, let's take a look at the economy from Team Philippines, right? We've got Averys and Soto, Averys and Villa Luna, and Averys on the claw. So this is going to be easy economies coming from Team Philippines, who's known for that, I would say, poking strategy where they just don't come in and fight in early stage of the game.
Yeah, that's actually the most amount of averages I have seen on one team so far. So Team Philippines are definitely leaning more towards that late game. We know that they're very comfortable once they get that scaling. And they are a team that is able to farm very quickly, even if they are dealing with a better early game team. So Team Myanmar, they're definitely going to have a timer on their heads here. They got to make something happen and try to deal with Team Philippines as soon as possible.
Yeah, I definitely agree and see what's happening coming from Team Philippines. They've got to make things work as well. You can see they're just completely ignoring fights. They're going for objectives time and time again. But eventually, it all comes down to getting those economy. Don't need to risk unnecessary kills, and that's going to be the way to go. You can see Villa Luna just being a little bit of space. Black going to be split off from the rest of the pack, but Team Philippines is still keeping the turtle in check. Soto deciding whether or not they want to go in for the contest. Unfortunately to say, Del Rosario says, I am going to focus on the orange buff instead, which is just not worth challenging in Hellcat rather early in the decision game.
Really good decision making by Myanmar, and being able to zone out Philippines to make them decide that, okay, you can have the turtle is going to be a great start for them, but it's still not quite enough. Philippines, they're still farming so quickly. They're still ahead of Myanmar in terms of net worth.
Yep, I definitely agree, but as you can see, Team Myanmar, they are going to be farming their way. Gumi also going to be farming a little bit more in terms of the gold crab, try and scale a little bit more, but Villa Luna now opening up the map. Doesn't want to take the risk, but Black almost getting caught out, but Team Philippines, they decided they don't want to go for it. It's just not worth it, not knowing where PS may or may not be coming from on this Hellcat.
Yeah, but they don't mind that at all. As mentioned already, Philippines, they're going for the ultra late game. So as long as they're able to stay ahead of Myanmar until we hit that 10-minute mark, they are absolutely fine. They don't need to take these fights at all.
Yep, and as you can see, Team Philippines, they're gonna try and knock into a couple gold plays down middle, but I don't think they can go for it as well. Jenny on this Lilia is just gonna be able to clear the minutes very, very efficiently by himself. So Team Myanmar, seems like they can't find any sort of opportunities as well. And knowing that there is this Hellcat, they can technically get kills across the map, but they just don't want to take the risk. The economy-wise, this is 50-50s across the map. And slowly but surely, Philippines is going to benefit a little bit more because of the amount of Everests they have. As long as they don't die, they will be able to evenly, I would say, even exceed their economy against Team Myanmar.
It is for that reason that Team Myanmar really needs to up the momentum. They gotta make something happen. Not only did the heroes with Avarice out-farm their opponents, PS is already a full level behind Del Rosario. So they're just gonna fall further and further behind the less they do. VeeWise though taking a lot of damage, but they're not quite able to finish him off.
Yep, here comes the sprint coming from the Philippines, and at the same time, Del Rosario will take the turtle right under the noses of Team Myanmar. He's got a big item power spike, but at the same time, here comes the Darkness Fall. They're pretty much blinded, but Soto tried his best to survive the midst of it all. USI needs to find a way to save his day, but unfortunately can't do so, and that is going to be first blood in the hands of Black coming from Myanmar.
Yeah, Soto gonna be able to try his best there, but he's already in a 1v3 situation. He knows that if he runs, he's probably going to die, so at the very least, he'll try to fight to survive for as long as possible. The Esmeralda is not quite scaled up enough to be able to hit that raid boss status, but again, Philippines, they don't mind this at all.
Agreed. Tier 1 bottom starting to take a little bit more damage from inside of Myanmar. It's going to give them a little bit more map control, but Team Philippines, look at this. They're just focusing on specific bushes. They want to get those bush control and give that uncertainty inside of Myanmar. They don't exactly want to be caught out by a potential Helker. They're just playing bush control, and then if anything happens, they are going to be quick to able to respond. But as of yet, let's take a look at the items real quick before we head into the next fight, because there's going to be Darkness Ball coming in. Gonzalez gets focused down, and he manages to survive the brute force, and that is going to be Myanmar taking it to tier 1. But Team Philippines is going to survive this as well. Sidesteps the snipes coming from Gumi, is going to put him in a very dangerous situation, but looks like he is getting a little bit greedy as well. But meanwhile, Team Philippines, they are going to quickly respond down mid. Takes down Jenny right from the get-go. Doesn't even have the black shoes. So great stuff. Great response coming from Philippines.
And since they know that they already chunked out PS pretty heavily, Del Rosario instantly starts taking away his jungle right from under him. This is how Team Philippines are able to just completely outfarm their opponents, taking away resources from their side of the map whenever they are given the opportunity to do so.
Yep. Very, very difficult stuff coming from Team Philippines, but the mid control right now, as you can see, once again, they're looking for ambushes. They want to bully Jenny as much as they can, but once they do so, things are going to be smooth sailing from side Team Philippines, but it seems like they are going to try and zone off the lanes to try and open up for the total contest. Team Philippines already making work on towards it as well, as Team Myanmar looking for the steal. Nope, not going to happen coming from the Helker, so that's going to be easy retributions coming in from Del Rosario. However, interesting enough, Luna, despite being on the roamer position, does have a fully fledged halberd to actually deal with the sustains coming from the Grok, which is very, very interesting.
It is most likely that even though he's on a roamer position, Luna is going to be trying to build damage. Dark Knight Falls being used by BS to try and catch the Popple and Koopa, but it's not going to matter as much. Philippines already ahead in terms of farm, but Gumi actually gets a nice trade. 1v1 kill onto Gonzalez.
Yep, they're just playing this very, very safely as well. They just don't want to go super ham. All they gotta do is just drag it in this later stage of the game. And look at this, Luna gets a nice pick. Black Shoe coming from Jenny is gonna force Dawning Light, and this is an opportunity for Myanmar to go in for the punish. Luna is trying to get a little bit more out of the sticky situation, but the rest of the Philippines is not gonna be able to do so. USI, however, dropped pretty low and not going to be able to assist Soto, and that is going to be 2 down from side to the Philippines, and that is going to be Myanmar getting a little bit of a redemption to actually fight back in terms of the economy swing.
Those are going to be pretty big pickoffs from Myanmar right now. Anytime they're able to get an advantage against Team Philippines, they have to take it. And now Gumi going to be sitting on a 3-0 KDA. Oh, they even found Uzi there. Oh, my Jenny gets the kill. Circling Eagle on top of Gonzalez. He gets away with the Battle Mirror image, but taking a lot of damage from Renner's apathy.
Yep, this is huge coming in from Team Myanmar, but at the same time, Philippines, they just, you know, got all the time in the war to just do whatever they want. But as of now, late armor is coming in from Soto as well as Del Rosario. Very, very synchronized timing to deal with the Beatrix. This is going to force the Beatrix to get a very, very early Heart's Claws, and because of that, the Philippines is going to be able to completely get a couple of freebies just because of how low Gumi may or may not be in this next upcoming Fields fights. But now, this first Lord fight here, this is going to be the first reveal of the power of the Blade Armors coming from Team Philippines.
We do have to note though, Benno, he just completed his Malefic Roar, so the Grok is actually going to be starting to do quite a bit of damage himself. But the Dawning Light chunking out quite a bit of Team Myanmar means that Team Philippines don't really have to think about it right now. They are still ahead in terms of net worth, even though they're behind by 4 kills.
Yep. And it seems like there's going to be an attempt coming from Black down towards Gonzalez. Gonzalez does have the mobility and position. Team Philippines looking to cut in the exits, but Team Myanmar is quick to respond. Del Rosario from behind. He wants to look for a right target. Dawning Light comes in. It is going to connect on 4. Gives a little bit of map pressure. He has not shown himself yet, and I don't think Team Myanmar knows he's right behind. Team Philippines looking for the setup. They want to try and catch them off guard and force a fight so that Del Rosario is going to be able to capture the situation. Gonzalez now going to be starting up the Lord, but Villa Luna going to be focused out as well. A big Dawning Light comes in, Darkness Fall comes in, and there's no choice but to force the issue. Gonzalez this to make a run for it as well, but eventually Team Myanmar is able to punish the miss of this confusion, getting 2 kills, and Del Rosario being a headless chicken right now, all by himself, unable to do anything but run for his dear life. The rest of Team Myanmar, they want to go for the fight, but unfortunately for Del Rosario, the shield unity is going to keep him alive. But no, the setup coming from USI has something to say. The Dawning Light good enough to trade for Black, but Del Rosario will be completely bursted down from the Shadow Bombs.
Myanmar actually getting some really good trades here against Team Philippines. We saw that they were trying to set up for Del Rosario to come in from the back line, but Villa Luna getting caught out so early on instantly turned the plan around on its head, and the Baxia was caught out in just no man's land. Not sure what he is able to do. Myanmar finally going to be able to regain that net worth lead against Team Philippines, and this is looking to be the most promising situation we have seen so far from a team up against this powerhouse.
Villa Luna going to be focused down as well. This is going to be a Popo and Koopa. Does not have the tanky abilities to do so. So with 1 man down, Team Myanmar is looking to threaten for the Lord. Del Rosario looking for a fight as well. The Storm comes in from the Lord, not connecting on anyone. Team Myanmar, they are going to go in for the reset because Soto is going to be a little bit too low, and that is going to be the pick-off coming in from Gumi. As even though they've got the blade armor coming in, Gumi, all it needs to do is just 1 snipe, and that is all it takes to actually chunk them down. So the sustains coming from the Matilda is going to be good enough. Darkness Fall comes in. USI going to be caught out, and that is going to be Team Myanmar picking away at Team Philippines. Gonzalez forcing the Blazing Duet, taking a very long time to kill on Black, and Black somehow manages to survive the miss of the convulsion, forcing Del Rosario to overcommit. And Black, he's not even dead yet, and everyone from the side of Team Philippines will be crumbling to pieces as they get picked apart. And now Gumi missing the snipe, and Gonzalez has no choice but to retreat and farm his way through.
Team Philippines finally realizing they might actually be underestimating Team Myanmar here, and they're now completely dominating these fights. The Dark Knight Falls is actually giving them so much advantage because Team Philippines aren't able to take advantage of information to understand the flow of the battlefield, ensuring that multiple of the members are simply getting caught out. I really like the way that they use the ultimate to instantly transfer aggro onto Uzi instead of continuing onto the Lord, because that's what Del Rosario was expecting them to do.
Difficult games, my friend. Seems like Team Myanmar, they're leading in terms of kills, but Team Philippines, they're able to capitalize in terms of training objective. And so far, Gonzalez is still alive and in the game because all he needs is just 1 good fight, and things will immediately swing in Team Philippines' favor. And this is something that we've seen a lot coming from Team Philippines, especially when it comes to playing the turtle defense. As long as they find 1 opportunity and strike, that's where they hit the hardest. And Team Philippines, they're just playing it as safe as they can, and it's not over yet. Big Dawning Light comes in, but it's unfortunately not as strong as we expect it to be. However, with the Lightning Truncheon, it might be a different story in this next fight.
Now, they're already taking the top tier 2 tower. Myanmar is going to try and push this as much as possible, as Del Rosario is just buying time. He's trying to stop the Lord down here in the bottom lane. Will be able to clear it up on his own, and that means that his team does not have to deal with it once it hits the tower. That's going to be very important, because right now, the Team Philippines cannot afford to be splitting up their forces.
Looks like they are going to force a tier 2 down for Soto. A little bit hesitant going for the fight. Dawning Light has been expanded, but they're still holding the Darkness Fall. But from behind, Del Rosario looking for an opportunity, but Myanmar knows that something is up. They don't want to commit to this fight. And once again, Team Philippines not able to go in for the flank formation, and it's just so very difficult. They have to figure a way to bait out the Darkness Falls first and somehow survive it all. So Team Philippines, they're trying to deal with this. But before that, let's take a look at the items real quick between both the progressions of both teams.
What Team Philippines needs to do now is just the delay, but the fight has already begun. Villa Luna almost getting caught out, is able to walk out without too much of a problem as Soto tries to defend the tower. Not going to be enough. The minions will take care of it. Myanmar slowly choking out Team Philippines. They're taking a little bit of a page out of their own book, and now they have to deal with their own medicine.
You know, slow and steady definitely wins the race, but woo, Gonzalez taking a full brunt of Gumi and doesn't barely actually feel that as well, considering that it's a decent amount of damage, but it's not life-threatening. So it's something that you can see in terms of progression. Philippines are keeping up. They're losing objectives, they're losing kills, but pay attention to the economy. It's only barely 4k into the economy, which obviously can swing in their favor as long as Myanmar loses a couple of fights. So it's all about waiting game. Stall, stall, stall is going to be the game plan, and Team Philippines does have the composition to do so.
Yeah, that's just going to be the way they have to play around this. They are at a 4k net worth deficit. All things considered, at this stage of the game, that's not actually too bad. They can come back from that, but they can't afford to give any more free kills to Myanmar, whereas Team Myanmar have to accelerate this. They are ahead right now, but not for long because of how late game Team Philippines draft is, so they need to continue getting pickoffs.
Yep, seems like the Dawning Light is going to be opening things up as well, but Del Rosario getting a pickoff as well, trying to force PS to pop a preemptive Darkness Fall. He still holds on to the Toys for Son, doesn't want to commit into it yet. Team Myanmar is out of formation to fight this as well. Soto slowly building up those shield stacks to try and tank the Brunt Force. Another Dawning Light has been expected, doesn't connect, but Team Myanmar waiting for Royal Moment Strike, and this is going to be it. No Dawning Light, but it's going to be the zone coming in. Gumi going for the ult coming in, but it seems like they are still holding on towards the Darkness Fall, and Team Philippines is still trying to bait reactions. Gonzalez taking a lot of damage, but that's going to be the third Dawning Light coming from USI to force the issue. Myanmar just brute forcing as much as they can, but they're just losing out in all these trades against the Philippines.
Yep, Team Philippines now gonna be on top of the Lord Pit. Villa Luna doing a fair bit of damage, but Koopa is caught out, so he's gonna be without it for a little while. So they're jumping in the backline to buy time for the rest of his team as the Lord has now been reset. But they are zoning out Team Myanmar, forcing them to recall to the base to heal up. So Del Rosario gonna get started on this next objective.
Oh my goodness, USI, how many Dawning Lights is that in this short span of time? Because of the amount he's been spanning, he was able to wait on multiple spams coming from Myanmar, and now with the Lord dropping down towards the two final bars, he's looking for the big wombo combo. Myanmar has no choice but to go for the fight. He's been saving up the Darkness Force to go in for the play, but Philippines, they're baiting in as well. Seems like they will get the restart on the Lord again, and Team Myanmar is just wasting so much time. But it's all according to Team Philippines' plan. It's not about forcing the fight. It is about stalling for time and to build those economy. But eventually, I feel like 70 minutes into the game, they are building their economy into the final 6 items.
Yeah, Team Philippines gonna be chunking out the Lord yet again, but they know that Team Myanmar are in the vicinity. They're just holding the Lord there, resetting it once again.
Oh no!
Dawning Light doing a lot of damage, forces out the Black Shoes. So that's a cooldown that OhMyVeenus not going to have available. Gumi trying to split push the top lane to buy some time, but Soto is already there to respond to it. This does mean that Team Myanmar now have control over the Lord Pit, but will it be enough? Dawning Light comes out. Benno gonna get stunned by Koopa. Nibiru's passion already used to zone out Team Philippines. As Soto comes in, he sees that their health is low. Koopa going for the fight yet again, and the Lord not going to be focused on Soto. Gonna be able to walk out of there just fine, and this is quite the intense dance by these two teams.
Oh my goodness, it's just trades after trades after trades, but no commitments whatsoever. It's been just poking and poking and poking, and every single time Team Philippines is just coming up on top, but it's so risky to force the fight just because of what it may or may not do to their composition if they lose it all. But as of now, Team Myanmar, they're going to be setting up Gumi up top, show himself. That is going to be prime position for Philippines to fight the fight, but now they're still holding it on. They want to bait the Darkness Falls coming from PS before the play, but the Dawning Light finally connects and gets a kill, and this is going to be the opportunity, the poke and pull effect. They finally got the job done. Villa Luna, however, will be able to escape M stardom in this track, but now the Lord is giving point of interest. Another Dawning Light coming from Philippines. to push them and scare them off. Team Myanmar, how will they play this? Gonzalez is going to be zoning for the team. They're trying to push PS back before to go for the Retribution steal. Team Philippines, they're playing it slow. They don't want to fight this as well. They're opening up the map. They're getting information on the help, but they are saving up as much as they can. The Dawning Light again. Finally, PS pops the Darkness Fall, and this is going to be goal time. They're pretty much blinded. The Team Philippines is very happy about this. Finally, with a little bit more vision, they close out the Lord. They will get a couple of pickoffs, and Myanmar could not wait no longer. And because of this patience coming from Team Philippines, they are able to punish the impatience of Team Myanmar.
This is just some incredible self-control coming out from Team Philippines here, finally identifying the exact moment that they can go in for the fight. Benno getting picked off so early on is just really detrimental to his team, because before then you could tell how important it is for all 5 members on both teams to be alive, to be able to dance around the Lord pit. But this is now going to be pushing up the top lane. This is the final evolution of Lord as well. Team Philippines wants to use this to push straight in and end the game.
Exactly. This is going to be them knocking down onto his Team Philippines, as well as Team Myanmar is going to lose the inhibitor up top. The Lord is still relatively healthy. Meanwhile, Team Philippines is looking to chunk objectives across the map. 20 minutes into the game, they've got economy, they've got the damage. However, they need another pickoff, and as of yet, it's all up to USI. Another Dawning Light comes in 3 as well, forcing an early black shoe. Means Team Myanmar is going to lose out a lot of the Shadow Bomb damage, but Team Philippines playing slow. They are trying to scale a little bit longer to the stage, but if we are in the territories where Villa Luna as well as Gonzalez is going to start to hit hard. But let's take a look at both the items progression coming in from Villa Luna and Gonzalez. It seems like Villa Luna going for a hybrid version of DPS now.
Yeah, that's quite interesting from the Popo Aguba here. I actually expected Villa Luna to go for more of a full DPS build, but this does make sense considering that they are still in the roamer position and need to be able to buy time for the rest of Team Philippines. Speaking of Team Philippines, they have been able to regain the net worth lead so far, and that means that Team Myanmar is going to be in for a little bit of an uphill battle here to ensure that they can maintain their position here in this game.
Well, this is a good time to actually calling for the pause as well. You can see the intensity of the match as well. The push and pull, right? The patience coming from both teams to actually go to fight. It's just so difficult. It's all about the mind games, and it's all about who makes the wrong move. I like how Team Philippines is very patient in that as well. And you can see time and time again, USI is just threatening with the Dawning Light. Even though, logically, the Dawning Light should be hitting this hard, but I'm really surprised that he was able to just consistently chunking it away, eventually finding the opportunity to get the kill for that fight. But now, we are going to be jumping into the game very, very shortly. But as of now, the fans coming from Team Philippines are just so happy, supporting their favorite team up on stream, representing representing Philippines, and just coming up on top. But now, we're going to be resuming into the game.
Honestly, I'm just really impressed at the discipline that Team Philippines is able to output. Even when they are behind, they're always able to come back out on top. They're able to regain their advantage just in lieu of making the correct mental choices. But now, Second Eagle catching out Del Rosario. Dark Knight Falls being popped, but it's not going to be enough. Del Rosario gets caught out with a wild charge. That's going to be one pickoff for Myanmar. PS actually able to walk away for free. Dawning Light won't find him. Villa Luna going to be the next one to fall. Myanmar still no casualties so far, and all of Philippines' cooldowns have been utilized.
Yep, and the patience coming from the Philippines as well as they take the goal in this fight. But this is going to be the first time the Philippines finally takes the economy lead to actually challenge against Team Myanmar. And just like that, they completely shut them down. But it's not over yet, because 10 seconds left. This is going to be the next stalemate of the Lord. But USI is in a position where he starts to hit like a truck. And you can see Black is a little bit too afraid to go in for the content. Does have the sustains, but it's going to be very difficult to do so. Rock Potion purchase up on Soto. Soto is going to be a little bit more aggressive and tanky to actually open up the map. Look at this. 4 immortalities coming from Myanmar. They're doubling down and just going all in with the Lord. Meanwhile, here comes the Dawning Light. Contested everyone. And Team Myanmar, they're crumbling. This is a big damage. However, USI going to be zoned out from the sides. And you can see Bono doesn't really have the damage to kill him off. Gonzalez slowly picking him up one by one. Blazing Duet connects the dot, chips off 1 immortality, and they're looking for more. And just like that, Philippines come over top with the trade-off and still having 5 men alive. USI with another Dawning Light to get lucky.
Myanmar just kind of forgot about Uzi's damage here on the Xavier, on all stacked up to try and take down the Lord as fast as possible. That Dawning Light was massive and allowed Team Philippines to instantly jump into the backline. Gonzalez getting a couple of pickoffs at this point is going to be pretty huge. And now that they've secured the Lord, they want to push straight in. They want to take as many inhibitors as possible before the Lord even comes and pushes down the lane.
Yep, Team Philippines now are going to be going for the closing up very, very shortly, but the Lord is going to be coming from the top side. But Philippines, they're trying to sync up the lanes, but the bottom lane is still relatively far. So I feel like Team Philippines, they are going to respect this and take on towards the objectives of Team Myanmar before syncing up. A very slow one up top, but they are syncing in pretty well from side Team Philippines. Team Myanmar, how will they do this? Another Dawning Light to scare them off. Team Myanmar, ooh, this is so hard to watch for, especially for Myanmar fans right now.
Yeah, the Luminous Lord now going to be pushing in. We can see Benno using the wall to delay and not going to be able to buy a lot of time as the rest of Team Philippines just pushing straight in. We can see Black taking a lot of damage, forces out the flicker. Dawning Light not quite enough to finish him off, but the Lord is on top of the Crystal. As we can see, Soto jumps straight into the entire team, but the Crystal has already fallen. And with that, the final hopes and dreams of Team Myanmar as well as Team Philippines will be able to achieve their clean sweep 6-0 in Group A.
GG, well played to Team Philippines. You can see they're already celebrating as well as Team Philippines getting an undefeated result in day number 1. Complete flawless victory and overwhelming domination in the group stages in Group 1. That pretty much solidifies their spot in towards the semifinals for tomorrow, where they have to battle either the members coming in from Indonesia, either Team Vietnam or Team Singapore, which is going to be happening tomorrow. But as of yet, they are going to be celebrating for day 1's victory with a flawless victory. As you can see, they are going to be showing a little bit of competitive spirit to show support to their compadres who they convincingly defeated against Team Myanmar.
Team Philippines' success here will also mean that Team Myanmar's fate in the SEA Games will be determined by how Team Malaysia performs in their final game today against Laos. That's going to be coming up right after this. But Team Philippines fans can definitely take a moment to celebrate this. They are going through to the semi-finals in the flashiest fashion possible.
Oh, this is going to be a very, very difficult situation to be in, as Team Myanmar's fate of making it to day number 2 is going to be in the hands of Team Malaysia. But as of now, from your perspective, up on camera, you can see Team Philippines is